Hello and welcome back to the channel. We are kicking off this year with several inspiring interviews of people who have lost weight. We know that losing weight is one of the biggest New Year's resolutions for a lot of people. We live in a world now where over 70% of the world's overweight and doesn't want to be. And some of these women that you're going to be hearing from over the next several weeks, uh, their stories are just incredible. These are people who have tried to lose weight in the past, all different weight loss stories, all different kinds of programs, tried and failed, but didn't give up, didn't give in. Somehow, some way, ran across the biggest transformation and have had some pretty crazy, insane results. And so tonight we have from season 11, Carmen. So tonight you get to spend the evening with the Carmens because Carmen's interviewing Carmen. So anyway, without further ado, please help me welcome to the channel Miss Carmen Defour.
Disco.
Defour. It's she can speak French too. To say, can you? How do you, we no oui? What does that mean?
Oui, oui is yes, yes.
Oh,
Oui,
okay.
oui,
How do you
non.
say? How do you say hello?
Bonjour.
What? Oh, boy, that's right. Is Arriva
Bonjour.
Derche? Bonjour. Is Arriva Derche? Is that French?
No, that's Italian.
Oh, dang it. Okay, sorry, I mixed them up. All right. So, you can you welcome them in French?
Bonjour tout le monde. Bienvenue au YouTube de Carmen Queen.
That's amazing. I'm gonna cut that and just listen to it. That's incredible. Oh, so Carmen, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be on the channel tonight. So you were in season 11 of The Biggest Transformation, and your first weigh-in, you started off at 262.3. And your last weigh in, you were at 210 pounds. That scale wouldn't give you another ounce to get, but that is over 52 pounds. Over
Yeah,
52 pounds.
that was amazing. Had you told me a year ago, like you'll be able to shed more than 50 pounds in 24 weeks, I would have said, no, I've tried it. I've tried it before. It's never happened, or I've reached a certain like weight and then I get comfortable and then whoops it goes up. Like I'd go down, buy new clothes, and then 2 weeks later, whoops, didn't even get a chance to wear the clothes because you know how it is. You say it a lot, like the problem with success is just a little bit. So you get too comfortable. And yeah, but I did it and I'm continuing to do it.
That's amazing. You look so freaking incredible. One of the worst parts about the program is we get 6 months together. We see each other every day virtually, and then we like whatever. Anyway, so let's rewind. Let's
Mhm.
rewind to pre-program Carmen's life. What was life like before jumping into the program? Explain that for everybody watching.
Before the program, I was really at my lowest point. I was ordering out like multiple times a week. I was not doing much exercise. I was at my heaviest, which was 262, and my prior heaviest was like 238 in the previous year. And like usually I spent like 15 years around between 205 and 212, you know? So that's a weight where I was comfortable at and wasn't able to like get down, or I get down a bit, make it to Wonderland for like 2 weeks and what go back up, you know? So yeah, so I was very much sedentary at that time, and just that like I put on like the 30 pounds between 230 and 260 very rapidly, and I just felt awkward in my body. I didn't have the same flexibility, the same range of motion. I was fed up. I was just like, well, rock bottom basically. So yeah, it was not fun.
Well, and no, I mean, we all get there, right? And then it's like we wake up one day and it's like, how did I get here? And it's
Yeah,
almost
and
like we don't go ahead.
yeah, sorry, I was gonna say like I was at the point where I had gone to see my doctor, and like I was like, well, I think I'm depressed. Can I get antidepressants? And she's like, well, it's just going to make you gain weight, but I can put you on Ozempic and I can put you on the bariatric surgery wait list. Because here in Canada, if your BMI is if you have a certain BMI and certain comorbidity issues, like I have light sleep apnea, you're eligible for the free gastric bypass, or it's covered by our healthcare system. But the wait time is like 3 to 4 years. So I was like, well, okay, put me on the list. But in my head, it was like, I don't really want it. It's just really like option, like the last option on the list if I don't manage to lose or shed the weight by then. So yeah, that's where I was. So
That is crazy. And we've had so many people that are basically on the same situation, whether it's in Canada or here in the US. They've started the process to have the bariatric surgery, or we've had so many people go through the program that have had the surgery. They never were taught how to keep the weight loss off, and then they wind up stretching it back out and starting off the same or worse as they were beforehand. So, all right, so you're at rock bottom. You're on the bariatric wait list.
yeah.
What was what, like, how did you decide, okay, I'm losing weight, like this is my time, I'm getting this weight off, I'm not waiting for the surgery, like I'm gonna do the work? And then how in the heck did you find the program?
I found it via Crystal Parot, who did, if I'm not mistaken, season 5. And she was like the teeniest girl there, and she finished second. She lost like 20 pounds. And I met her because she does like through her work. I met her and I went to see her, and she's like, oh, I did this weight loss thing, and it's like private groups, and her name is Carmen O'Quinn. So I jotted your name down and I was like, oh, here we go, like another like weight loss type thing, blah blah blah. So I I wrote it down, but I didn't look into it right away. And then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, Crystal sent me the pre-application for the friends and family email that you send out. So I was like, okay, well, let's just go check this out for the hell of it. So I go on the YouTube and I see, like, I read the information, I see the videos, and I'm like, okay, like, what do I have to lose except wait, right? So I decided to apply. And then I went through the pre-approval and then the second approval and did the video. And then a few weeks, I think it was not even 2 weeks later, I was like getting the email that says like, congratulations, you're in. And I think I cried. I literally cried. I was so happy. I was like, okay, so like I'm gonna do this. And like that just like gave me my little pep back kind of thing. And yeah, so that's how I got into the program. I was like so grateful. I was like,
Well, it's like because there's always more applications than we can accept. So there's always so many people that don't get in. And so it I mean, it's awesome that you had that reaction, because sometimes people get their acceptance and they're like, what did I do?
well,
Did you ever?
there was a bit of apprehension too. There was like, oh God, what did the bleep did I just do? And then I was like, but I got accepted. I got chosen. So it was like, the both sides of the thing. I was like, okay, like don't think about it too much. Just like go, like you got chosen. It's gonna go well. I looked at other seasons and I checked. I'm like, okay, on average they lose about like minimum 10% of their body weight and all this. So it's like, okay, you got this. It's just, like it's 6 months out of your life. Like what, like worst case scenario, nothing changes, right?
So so you get, so for those that don't know anything about the program or you haven't watched it, so it's a cast basically, and it runs for 6 months. The program does, and it's, you get the whole blueprint, like what to eat, what to drink, moving your body. Like we don't cut out any food groups. Like it's the old fashioned hard work. Like, and there's a lot to it. We do a lot of mindset work and habits and emotional eating and all of that. But so for those watching, what was different for you about this versus everything else you've done in the past?
Well, for one was the fact that we had an accountability group and we had weekly meetings with you that tackled those mental blocks, those mental issues, the triggers, it went beyond the just what to eat, what not to eat, and how to exercise. And even with the exercise, we were pretty much at first I was thinking, okay, well, everybody has to do a certain program. But no, it's like, okay, you go on Body and you select whichever program you want to do at that moment and you do it. And then if you want to try another one, you do another one or you stay in the same one and you evolve that way. But yeah, it was definitely the fact that it was not just based on food and exercise, but you also did all what I call the psychological work as well.
And you're in this with either other men or women, because we have sometimes all we have mixed groups, but your group was an all woman group. And so how was that in the beginning, right? Because you're in here and like you're sharing these details and you know none of these girls and you're like, oh my gosh, like these, in most cases it's so comical because these are not people on the street that you would walk up and just typically be friends with. So how did that start? Was it a little weird? Was it awkward?
It was definitely weird for me because just like talking into a phone, like in video chat was like, what is this? I don't do this. I like chatting, like typing. I don't do video. So at first I was like, oh, okay, showing my face, like telling, like saying hi, and then like slowly like learning to be just deciding to, you know what, F it. And it's like I'm here for 6 months. I have to learn to be more vulnerable. If I don't, I won't progress. So, and the castmates that I had, they were just awesome. And they're still awesome because we're still continuing, at least most of us, there's four of us that have continued into phase 3 that we do still do our daily check-ins. We still have our Monday meetings. We watch like episodes from previous seasons and we redo the question every week. And so we're kind of like continuing what we were doing in phase 1 and phase 2 with you, but just without you. And then
That's
sometimes we get the Carmen, the O'Quinnisms out.
Yeah, because in your season it was Carmen, and then there I was known as O'Quinn
Yeah,
because like you couldn't just say Carmen because there was two of us, right? Isn't it crazy though? Because like these relationships you have with these women, now you can't probably imagine doing life without them.
I can't. And like I'm so jealous of them because they're going to one of the your global Destiny Global activities at the end of the month, and they're going to be all together. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, girls, you're gonna have to do some in Canada. Uh,
I
and I'm
know.
like,
I'm
okay.
We're gonna miss you because we're gonna have a group hug. We're gonna
I'm like, one day we will meet. It's gonna happen. But yeah, so yeah, but they are awesome. They're like just new friends, and I think our group fairly quickly we got used to each other, and we just like started spilling the beans. And I think I was like crying the first week and just like letting it all out. And we've all had our little moments like that, and we still have some moments like that as well, or sharing moments of frustration and whatnot. And we just support each other through that. And even though we don't see each other in the physical world, it's like still a super, super great support system.
Yeah. No, it's one of my favorite parts is seeing people from all over the country, right? And out of country and different countries come together from different walks of life and different faiths and different backgrounds. And you get in there and you're like, okay, what is this? It's like this nervous thing because weight loss, like we got to do it by ourselves. We don't need help. We don't talk about our feelings. We don't talk about secret eating. Like it's like this hush hush stuff. And then you get in this group. And I think part of the cool thing is you realize you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like there's other people who have the same feelings and the same struggles. And how did the accountability for you play a part, like having to step on the scale every week and having to do the check-ins?
It was definitely there because we didn't want to disappoint you, right? We're like, oh my God, if I don't shed some weight this week, Carmen's gonna rip me a new one. But she's not that bad, people. Like Carmen's awesome.
Huh.
I don't want to disappoint Carmen. I don't want to disappoint the group. You're there and you're like, putting in the work, and like every day it's like, okay, like you check in the morning, okay, I did my workout, and you're all sweaty and stuff. It's like, it was awesome, even though you were like, at the beginning of it, it's like, oh, this is like, I don't feel like doing, but you get it done, and then after it's like, okay, I've done it, moving on. And then at the end of the day, it was like, okay, I got all my containers in, or I ate within my calories, and we're doing well. And then the next day you get out on the scale, and it's like, hey, it went down, that's awesome. Or like, I've lost 3 inches this month. Like, it's not just the scale, right? It's also the non-scale victory. So we try to celebrate that as well and remind each other, because sometimes it's so easy to get stuck on the number, because
Yeah.
sometimes sometimes it won't move. But like, if you take out the tape measure, or you take out the camera and compare pictures, you're like, oh yeah, okay, now I see it,
100%. 100%. Uh, how have other people responded? Well, let me ask you this first. What have been the biggest changes you've seen within yourself before and
Well,
after? Like Carmen before and Carmen right now.
I have more energy. I definitely have more mobility. I'm stronger for sure. So that's awesome. Like, I painted my whole, uh, not the whole condo, but like, I painted my condo over Christmas, over 3 days. And like, just recuperating was so much faster. I wasn't as sore in my shoulders. I wasn't as sore in my legs and my back. So that's just awesome. And just progressing in different workouts, from doing bar blend in the beginning to currently doing 80-day obsession, you're like, whoa, I'm definitely getting stronger and seeing like the muscle definition. And just, yeah, just being, I think I've always also been like upbeat, but that extra, when I was at 262, I was like really not no longer myself. So
Yeah.
dropping the weight, I started like refining my joy for life type of thing. So, and I'm planning my trip to Paris. So, yay.
Yes. So what's next? I'm so glad
Yeah.
you mentioned that. So what is next for you as far as obviously your trip to Paris has been a huge inspiration.
Yep.
And then ultimately, where do you want to end up with your health?
Well, ultimately, I want to no longer have to use my CPAP to sleep. I have light sleep apnea, and I've definitely seen improvements that way. I still need it, but there are some nights that it's just like, it just annoys me. I take it off, and I wake up and I'm fine. So that is good. I'll definitely be much leaner once I reach freedom phase. So freedom phase will eventually relate to about 120 pounds shed. So I'm aiming for 138 approximately. We'll see how I feel when I get there. But
Yeah.
my ultimate goal, that I had given myself at the beginning of the program, is to lose, or shed, sorry, 100 pounds by the end of May, and I'm currently still on track to reach that. So super happy about that. So we're just like continuing on, speaking with my girls in my group, doing the workouts. There's three of us doing the 80-day obsession at the same time. So it's awesome. And we're like, oh, today was booty day.
Yes. Yes. Well, and here's the most incredible part too is like even when the program's done, like you have the blueprint, you have the tools to keep going, you have the tools to not only lose the weight, but when you get to the freedom phase to keep it off. Like it's not unless someone goes to the program and then they're like, I ain't doing any of that. Give me McDonald's. Like, anybody can always gain it back. But like you've got the tools, you've got the support, you've got these newfound sisters that you're doing it with. What would you say to somebody who's tried all the things, who's been thinking about bariatric surgery because that just seems like the easy route?
Yeah. I would say try harder. It's not always easy, or apply for Carmen's program, because it does work. If you don't get in, try to create an accountability group, like people that you can really, really depend on, that will be there to encourage you and support you, because that is the most important thing. And like, nothing happens overnight, right? You have to put the work in. The weight didn't come on by itself. It's not entirely the hormones. It's not entirely like your thyroid. I'm not saying that they can't be part of the issue, but it's not just that. So, and unfortunately, bariatric surgery, and a lot of people, they get it and they don't do the proper work, so they just end up gaining all the weight back, right? A few people do succeed, and kudos to them, but I've known a lot of people that have had the surgery. It goes well for the first year or two, they get the skin removal, and then whoops, they start putting the weight back on. So it's not, and then they have to take all types of supplement. I have a colleague that had it last year, and she's like, if you can avoid it, avoid it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've seen people do the bariatric surgery and they've had like teeth break or severe hair loss because they're malnutritioned. I mean, one of my close girlfriends went through it and she can only eat like 600 to 800 calories a day.
Mhm.
Like that's nuts. Like it's like a snack, you know? That's crazy. Anyway, you mentioned one of your colleagues. How have your colleagues and your friends and family reacted to this new Carmen?
Well, they're like, what are you, some of them ask me like, what are you doing? Some of them don't necessarily say something because like I've been known to go up and down over the years. But my sister's like, you've lost some, like, you look clean. I'm like, yeah, well, I've lost like almost 55 pounds by now. And they're like, what? Like, I have colleagues going like, what? That is amazing. Colleagues are going like, that's amazing. My family's going like, really? I'm like, yeah, like, haven't you seen me like in the past few months? But anyway, but it's awesome to get that feedback. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I have this group, I have this accountability, and I'm just doing the work. I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I'm doing my workout before work. Then I go to work and I follow my containers as best I can. I slacked off a bit during like after phase two and like during the holidays, but I've been able to like take it like take the reins back kind of thing and not fall back into old
Yeah,
patterns. Like during the holidays, I didn't gain a pound. Like my weight did not change at all. I was able to maintain. I kept doing my workouts and all that. So I know I have the tools to be able to stay in the weight that I decide to stay. And right now it's like, okay, we're back in January. We did like a mindset, like re-cleared our minds, and I'm just refocused on my goals. And you know what? I'm gonna reach it. I'm gonna get there by the end of the May.
that's right. And when's the Paris trip?
I'm leaving on May 23rd.
She's going to Paris. Bonjour. To sip cafe in the how do you say coffee in
The cafe and the coffees and cafes. It's,
okay,
yeah, it's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
Or
she's
to
gonna
sip a cafe in a bistro.
exactly. She's gonna go do all the Perry things and speak her French and do all this stuff. Carmen, it has been, I mean, my goodness, you are such a delight, such an amazing woman. And it has been such an honor to be on this journey with you and to watch you transform and to watch this spread into so many different areas of your life and really inspire so many people around you. And she's a mentor for one of our castmates in season 12, and it's always so great for them to be like, I have the best mentor ever. Carmen is my mentor and she's amazing. And I'm like, well, yeah, no kidding. And so I know you're not done yet, and I am over here cheering for you. I cannot wait to see the pictures from Paris. And you're just amazing. So thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for sharing your story with everybody and being an inspiration. If you are watching, make sure to go down below, leave her an encouraging comment. If you want to get on the wait list for any of our future seasons, you can do that also down below in the description box. And we will be back next week, same time, same place, for another video.